Greetings and blessings wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite Creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will accept, receive, and or benefit the healings and the knowledge of the universe. Now, with that, I just want to say thank you all to the subscribers and to all the folks who hang out here. You are all a blessing. We just got done with I didn't get done, but I was in the chat with Milky Way Messengers and Brian and the call-in show. And and Truth in Me and to all the folks. Hi, Michelle. It was really good to hear voices of folks who've been in the chat room. And I'd really like to have a call-in show here at some point. But sometimes my brain cells don't work too well, and I have difficulty, trying to connect dots sometimes. But anyway, we'll see. I don't. You know me. I refuse to give up. But this particular subject for tonight is something that I wrote down a couple of days ago, and then I noticed it's like, you know what? Wait a minute, I forgot to do this. I switched subjects and skipped this one. But it is. I think it's an important part because there are so many things. There's so many people like we're discussing on Brian's show, and we discuss here in the chat and within our group, if you will. And it has to do with our spirituality, and everybody's got their own little way of how they get there. And iStation Z, thank you so much again for, I was able to help him remember about sitting down with trees and how, you can meditate with a tree and how exciting and how freeing and liberating and energetic and all that kind of stuff. And he remembered 60 years ago how he used to do that. And so I'm very humbled. And, there are times when I'm a little curious as to why I discuss certain subjects, because there's somebody out there that it just made it clicked with Zed, and it's certain things that I've said have clicked with other people. And I find that very humbling. So, but what this means is there are many puzzle pieces in our life. Hey, Brian, you had a great show, man. That was it. It was a blast. We're going to have to talk and see if I can figure out how to do a call-in show. I just thought that was great. But this idea, though, that each one of us has our own paths, and on Brian's show, there's so many different people that, there's Miss Deborah Tucker, and with I think I have some of her healing oils here, for example, to give a little shout out to Miss Deborah. And everybody's got their own thing, everybody's got their own path, everybody's got their own journey, everybody's got their own puzzle piece. But your puzzle piece is not my puzzle piece, although we may share certain parts of the puzzle, but each one of us has to put our own puzzle together. Now, after all of my years, after 67 years, I can look back and go, wow, had I moved a few of those pieces around, things would have been a lot different. The picture, the overall picture at the end wouldn't be the same. There are choices that we make along the way, and those choices that we make are the things that give us our freedom. That well, I don't want to go to the store, or I choose to go to the store, or whatever the decision is that we make. But for every one of us, every little excursion, a vacation, for example, you go on a 2-week vacation, you have a good time or you don't have a good time, whatever it may be. But you go on this vacation and it's this little blurb in time, and you take pictures and you do all these things, and it's part of your picture of your life. So in a way, it's part of the puzzle, if you will. Okay. So whether or not it actually fits in, but there are times when I've had really good vacations, and they were memorable moments that still, are with me today. Hi, David Castle. It was really great to hear your voice, by the way. And thank you for participating. Hi, Ian. Um, but so every one of us, our own soul journeys, our own life, whatever it is, that is the puzzle piece. But for the planet, how do we like merge this together? Well, we're merging together because we have already formed this wonderful group of people, and that we share our ideas, and we don't argue amongst ourselves. We have discussion. We discuss, we share our thoughts on our feelings. And that's how this puzzle piece fits together, in my humble opinion. Now, there are those who would poo poo me and, like, well, I don't know. What proof do you have in this? There's proof in the support that we have for each other. That's the proof. How much more proof do you need? Those of us who are participants and participate within this group, we know what we mean. And we try to describe it, or talked about anybody, explained it to somebody else. They don't quite get it, and that's all right, because they're the crazy ones. No, I'm sorry. They call us crazy when they're the nutters. That's it. Hi, Truth and Me. It was good to hear your voice. And you were the first one on Brian's show. Yay, yay, team. David says, I am strange. Sometimes I feel I need to be asked because some don't like the talking about some of these things. It bothers their reality. Hey, Project Skyfalls. In our group, we talk about all kinds of stuff. As you probably know, that's why you come and hang out with us. Maybe we talk about all kinds of things, but and as long as the discussion is reasonable, we allow it. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, Brian and I have talked about this. They're the one of our little favorite things is like the flat earthers. Okay, if that's what you believe, but it's not in my reality. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in yours, but for some of us, we're still the round globe type folks, anyway, or oblong, or whatever misshapen thing a dear planet Earth is by now. But anyway, the idea, though, that when there are many people who will get caught up in one part of the puzzle because it's their life at this moment. But as they go through and make the transition, okay, you've had, you did a job. Like for me, my last job as an engineer, I had a 7+ year run. It was a good one until the business went south to Mexico and all that NAFTA stuff. But the idea, though, that that was just one portion of my life. I've worked as a machinist. I've worked as a precision grinder, and I worked on parts for jet engines, very precision. I've worked in other areas. I've worked on hog farms. I've worked on, I've worked again. I've been in jail a couple of times. Spent a year in prison, and worked in the kitchen and did all that kind of stuff. And so, oh, which, by the way, I'm going to just throw this in. There are folks out there that say, well, felons, they're folks are allowing them to vote. Hey, listen, we should have never lost. Just because you were thrown in jail for a drug charge or something doesn't mean you should have lost. We should have lost our right to vote. I'm just saying, you know. And as an ex-felon, twice over, the state of Georgia passed a law and said that, if you're out of jail and you've been clean and it was a nonviolent crime, if it was murder or rape or something like that, they still won't let you vote. So a nonviolent felony offense, for example, a drug charge on my part, that, I would be able to vote again. So I've been voting ever since I finished my probation. And so it's like, actually, I didn't tell them, but even while I was on probation, I still voted. They never rescinded my voter registration card. But my point is about this. Just because you commit a crime against the state doesn't mean you shouldn't be allowed to vote, because maybe there was some idiot you should vote out of office that put you in jail in the first place. Just saying. Anyway, I just want to throw that in. But as part of the puzzle piece, okay, too many people I am guilty of this over the years, so that's why I wish to share this. Hi, Jen. How are you? Shalom. I think I got that right. Um, the idea, though, that it's the portion of our life, whether it be a vacation or my year in jail or 7 years at a job or whatever it is, that's just part of the puzzle of my life. So when you're 30 years old, your puzzle piece isn't even complete yet. So you can't see the whole picture. You can kind of look forward and plan and do. And I tried to take career choices, but after getting thrown in jail, that pretty much limited my career choices. But anyway, that's what happened to me. But that's also part of one of those things. That's one of the puzzle pieces that it I had the opportunity to not get busted and missed it. So, but that's in my own life, another story. But as far as the puzzle pieces go, had that puzzle piece not happened and I not got spent a year in jail and uh, the entire picture would have been different for me. Don't know how, but it would have been different. Now, I could have been busted later on because at the time I was really involved in some really heavy duty, sure enough, kick ass drugs. I mean, they were really good, but they were really bad too. Okay. But to the point, and I absolutely had a monkey on my back. But to the point, though, that as far as our life of experience, whatever we experience in that time is just one of the puzzle pieces. Okay. So we can say, wow, this period of my time was really crappy when I had all those seizures and was in a wheelchair and drooling and coming up with all that stuff. Oh my God, I don't want to go through that again. Ever, never. Would not want even my worst enemy to go through what I went through. But that's just one part of the puzzle. That's just one piece. And I had to realize as I was trying to get out of that could establish the rest of my life if I chose to. I chose to say, oh, hell no. And I went and bought a kayak, instead of, well, I can't walk, but I can paddle. Okay. So it's like, well, I can push myself to the truck. I can drive and I can shove the kayak off. The hardest part was getting kayak back on the truck. But to the point, though, I could paddle. So, and that gave me a freedom of paddling. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it gave me freedom because before I was like, well, I can't walk, I can't ride a bike, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I found something that I could do and did it and still do. I'm kind of wishing I was on the water pretty here, but the river's really up. Breaking Dawn and I stopped by the river the other day, and holy cow, man, the water's really up, and it's not even at flood stage. So it was very interesting. Anyway, but to the point though, we our puzzle pieces sometimes don't fit because for some reason we choose otherwise. In other words, maybe my overall picture should have been different had I not done drugs and got busted. Maybe. Maybe I was all that was supposed to happen. Maybe I was supposed to be incarcerated. Maybe that was my soul project. Now I got another video scheduled about talking about the spirit and whether or not we actually have a choice or whether or not our spirit journeys or soul contracts or whatever, whether or not we actually have a choice. So that's was supposed to be tonight, but I decided to do the one I skipped for now. But I think it's important, especially after talking with with Milky Way and having everybody call in and everybody participating. We all have our own puzzle piece. So it felt like this subject was more appropriate than the other one. But and that's part of the puzzle too. But what we need to do as a shaman in training is to be able to step back and say, well, wait a minute, here's a puzzle piece and there's a puzzle piece because they've already happened. But now we look back over our previous stuff. That's the wisdom. Okay. So we stop, as I said in an earlier video today, Sometimes we need to be as a dead tree standing and just stand still and let things catch up with us. Doesn't mean that we can't keep moving and shouldn't, but that sometimes we need to let what we've already seen and experienced and learned catch up to us so we can kind of feel it and let it settle in. And that's very important, because as I discussed in that video, my Mother Mary messages, I have a lot of inner conflict about whether or not I even want to do a video about this and so forth like that. And so, but anyway, but it's part of the puzzle. So I can fight the puzzle piece. I have the free choice to not accept it, not do it, not follow my gut or my instincts, or I can go along with it and allow it to happen. Does that make sense? Okay. So in our lives, we look backwards, not necessarily so much as to reminisce or to, oh God, that was a terrible time for me. And yeah, but we need to take I've spoken about this before, we need to take our emotions out of our past. Yes, I had some terrible times, but I don't want to feel that feeling again of being drooling and sitting in a wheelchair going, no, I don't want to go there. Please, let's not relive that. And so I can talk about it, but I must keep my emotions out of it. So in the things that have happened to us in our past, we look back with, we still have the emotion. It's still within us, but we don't allow our emotions to overtake us when we're referring to our past. Okay. That's how you get beyond it. Okay. But at the same point, I can't take away what's already happened. It's already happened. So, but I can choose how I feel about what the past is to me and how I relate to it, my emotional attachment to it, and whether or not I wish to talk about the past and become emotionally involved, cry, get mad, get pissed, whatever the deal is. So that's our choice. So the wisdom that we accumulate is how we look back over these puzzle pieces, because they're already together. They're already us. We can't change it. So what we can do is look at the puzzle pieces that are already together, okay, and say, what could the rest of this picture look like? Not what does the picture look like, but what could the picture look like? Okay. And there's a big difference there, and I really mean to make sure you understand this. If you say, "Oh, that's the picture," then hey, Sweet Pea, Project Skyfalls, Michelle, Milky Way, it's so good, Brian. You're hanging out with us always. Project Skyfalls, I think, David Castle, Truth in Me. I'm not going to read you until I get done with this, but anyway, see, I've already gotten off topic. I'll look at your schedule, and I'd like to get you back on next week or two. All right, Milky Way, absolutely. If you're is that David Castle or this David? Anyway, I'll do Tuesday, Brian, if you're still there. But it's our puzzle pieces. So let me make sure that you understand this, and I'll quit looking at the chat for now. We have to make sure, because when we expect a result from something and it doesn't happen the way we want it to, or we expect it, we influence how it happens. Now, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't participate in what our future events are. That's not what I mean. But if there is something in your future, there are many possibilities. So it's like the spiritual thing. Way back in the day, did I ever think that I'd be on Brian's show, that we would have this community, that I would be doing live stream video? No, this was not in my realm of thinking, but here we are, So it's like, but I knew that I was going to be a puppeteer, and I've always been involved with theater, and I've always been doing these other things. So I knew that I would still be involved somehow, but I did not know it would be this medium. So if I had projected this, I projected something else and it didn't happen, and I got really damn depressed about it. And then I realized, much like if I can't hike anymore, I can damn sure paddle. So instead of being able to travel around and do puppet shows and meet people and have an influence with a positive thing in that way, here I am doing YouTube. So there is another way. If the, you know, if we set our limits, then our boundaries are set. And as a shaman in training, as you've heard me say, we must accept that all things and anything is possible, good or bad. But now, with our intent moving forward, so everybody can look back over their puzzle pieces at the picture that's already their life, can't change it. But you look at that picture and say, you know, d- maybe there's a couple of bad blotches on that picture that you'd really like to take some spray paint to, or maybe it's something that I wish to change for the rest of the picture. Maybe it's a little too dark in the corner. Use too much, crimson red and phthalo blue or something, And I want to bring it. I want to make the rest of the painting more light. I'm going to use more white and silvers and brighter colors and yellows and oranges and bring more vibrance out and come out of the darkness of the painting, if you will, the entire picture, and brighten up the rest of the picture. So it's like so the picture. How do we look at the rest of our picture from this point forward? Because everything else has already been there. How do we want the rest of our picture, our life, to look without expectation? Now, I do expect that I'm going to continue to work for the light. I'm going to continue to work for Mother Earth. I'm going to continue to bring up topics that maybe other folks won't bring up. I'm going to continue to try to take pictures of orbs and talk about spirits and UFOs and planet alignment and all that kind of stuff. But how it's going to work out or whatever's going, I'm not putting it. I just know that these are going to be the topics in the future, and I'm along for the ride. I'm here as the observer, the um, yeah, the contemplative observer. You know what I mean? But with that said, though, but our pictures are intertwined because we're meeting here. So one could say, well, there's Hawkeye's picture and David Null because there is a distinct him versus me because I changed my pattern. I noticed my picture wasn't looking too good. So as I started doing my shaman training and took on the quote the persona of Hawkeye, meaning that Hawkeye is my true spiritual self. I'm still David Null. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a two-person thing, but Hawkeye is. I said, Dave just wasn't spiritual enough, and Hawkeye is the name of my spirit guide and me and this new transformation. I'm still David. Yes, okay, I get that. But the Hawkeye part is like, but that took some doing to get there. I'm David was given to me at birth without a choice. Hawkeye was a choice. I went through a sweat lodge. I went through training. I went through a lot of stuff to be, quote, proclaimed Hawkeye. Now, that was a nickname of mine for a lot of years, too, that other people gave me. So it kind of just continues on. But anyway, as part of the puzzle piece, though, so there's the David part of me, and then there's the Hawkeye transition, where I studied the shamans and I meditated for days in the woods and I did all these other things. So I came out of David into the Hawkeye series, but it's still part of my puzzle. But what does that puzzle have to do with the rest of this picture? Well, had I not went through that training, I could not share it with you. So in that, my picture joins with y'all's, if at least at one point, because I'm able to sit with you right now and share this and have this discussion. So my picture, our pictures overlap as part of the puzzle of the universe, okay, not our personal ones. But so in each of us now, because we have participated and because we now know we are members of the League of Like-Minded Beings, our puzzles do intersect. Our pictures intersect. but it's not our private picture, it's a universal picture. So we're painting on a very large canvas because we're all in different places. We all have different experiences, although many of them are very similar as we talk about them. And it was honestly, it was really great to hear you folks tonight. But so understand our picture is part of the big picture. Our piece of the puzzle is part of the big piece of puzzle. It does matter. So if we want to just, blow it off and go, well, it doesn't really matter. That's just bullshit. Yeah, those folks that do that. But when you understand this higher realm of thinking as a shaman in training, that all things matter and that all things, especially when you connect, there are people that I haven't even spoken to, but I've met that I still remember. They made that much of an impact on me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there was a person I met last year at with a walking stick, and we just looked at each other, and I still remember him walking down. I mean, but we never spoke words, but we spoke emotion. And I remember him, and I remember that. But we never talked. Okay. So, but and now he's part of my picture because I met him and there was this interaction, even though that was nonverbal. So every time we interact with other people, it becomes a part of our puzzle, our particular part of it's our own individual puzzle piece, but it creates our life, our life's picture. We are the artist. So how do you want to create what you already learned? Looking back, and you got to be honest. I keep saying this. There's some people I know, well, I'm being honest with myself, and I'm like, now look, I've known you for a long time, and I know damn well and good you're not. Come on, now stop it. You've got to be brutally honest with yourself. You don't have to tell another soul, but you got to be honest with yourself. And otherwise, you're just not going to make it. Because you can't go. Lies are low energy. You cannot make it up the grade when you got that sack of lies hanging around your waist holding you down. It ain't going to work. You're going to drown. So, but you can untie them weights at any time. You can let go of the grief and all that mess, and be able to swim to the top and get out of the situation. But how do you want to paint your future picture? Now, if you put in trees and shrubs and everything, in your picture, and maybe there's not as many trees or shrubs as you thought, as you projected into the picture. So one of the things we have to be careful with in our life is that we're not so, well, wait a minute, I painted this picture and this is how it's going to go. Mm-mm. Spirituality is not like that, because you can find motivation and things and all kinds of stuff. Zed, oh my brother, thank you so much. You humble me with your words, and thank you so much. I'm so glad that I'm a help at all to anyone at any time. And blessings, my friend. I knew you were going through trouble, but and Zed's got his own puzzle piece. You know what I mean? We all got our own puzzle pieces, but we are all part of a bigger plan, bigger picture, bigger painting. But now I want to warn everybody, we can direct how the painting goes, but we should not say, wait a minute, I don't like that brushstroke like that. I want it over. And we got to be careful, because sometimes when we try to affect the change too much, the effect is not what we expect. So what I've learned of all my years is that you follow it, you go but you're aware of, wait a minute, maybe I should kind of just ease off that little whatever it is right there, and just keep from bumping the edges, if you will. It's like going through a narrow alley. You don't want to knock off the mirror off your vehicle, so you're being a little careful, and sometimes it's like that. So you don't want to, you don't want to knock your mirrors off. I got some big ass ears that I don't, I gotta hold them close, kind of thing. But you can scrape your knuckles too. So anyway, but with that said, though, we can help to um, how do I put this? It would be like this. So you've seen a character, and the police want you to do an artist sketch thing, and you sit there, and so you try to describe to the artist. Well, it's their interpretation as to how they do it. Okay, and some of them are really damn good. But here's the thing. So we need to, with our painting the picture, we need to suggest what it looks like and let the future draw it. Did you hear that? We need to suggest what it looks like, but let nature, let the universe finish it. Because there's so many things that are going to be coming in us that we are not aware of. So the only thing that we can do is allow ourselves to be open. But I'd like the painting to sort of look like this. I want a landscape. Okay, but you're not specifying how many trees. You're not specifying if there are mountains in the background with snow on the top. You just say, I want the rest of this picture to be a landscape instead of a dark corner in a cave. Okay. So that is our intent. That is our purpose. We wish to work more towards the light. So our picture's already sort of in a direction. But if we try to pinpoint what we think it should be, it may not be what should be. Too many times I've like, well, it's going to be like this. And it wasn't like that at all. In fact, I learned that it was actually the opposite. So when I've tried to force certain things, it'll smack me right back in the head. And I've had enough head injuries, thank you. But we learn with our discernment, our wisdom. When you accept and receive the wisdom from the universe, you'll go, wait a minute, maybe it's going sort of the direction I want to go, but not quite. And listen to that intuition. Well, I really think it should be like this. Really? That maybe, well, I think it should be like that. Maybe not. Too many times people have wished that it looked like that to not be satisfied when they got it. So that's being careful with our pictures. But the puzzle is still going to come together, even if it ends up crappy with, scratch marks in the painting, or we missed a spot, or whatever. The colors, didn't blend well, or whatever. But it's up to us, though, to say, well, wait a minute, that little, wait, I can smooth that brush stroke out. That's where we can come in and take control of the situation, if you will. The universe, we're going to follow it along. We've got our intent. We're moving. We understand what we want our pictures to be. I'd like to take some people down the river, for example. Well, Breaking Dawn and I went to the store the other day, and I came home with a trailer that's being built in my yard. Guess what? I can put the canoes and all 3 kayaks on the trailer and camping gear. So if somebody says they want to go, I can. We can all, as many people as can fit in this stuff, and all the gear. It's in the trailer. All I got to do is hook it up to the truck versus all that stuff's in my truck at the moment. So it's been years on my planning for this. I'm not dead. It's part of it's here right now. I got to finish the trailer and all that. But to the point, though, wait a minute. Here I am at least to this spot. Now, will anybody ever come and we go? That's immaterial. I had to get to a certain point for myself to actually be able to like offer it. I've offered it to people, and one guy keeps calling me from school. He's like, well, one of these days we're going to go on the river. Well, I'm still here, haven't moved yet. But to the point, though, to like be able to take a group or something, I can almost do that now as soon as I get this trailer together, etc. But so yes, and my intention was, if we can make it to on the Arkansas trip, was to take the trailer with all the boats. How about that? That'd be fun to go floating on some of the rivers I've been on in Arkansas. I'm going. Anybody want to go with me? But anyway, it's really exciting, and especially in places. But but anyway, so I paint my picture. So my sort of wish is I wish I could do this, or I'd like for that to happen. But every time I tried to force it to happen, it didn't work. Miss Deb and I, we went to the store. I called the guy 6 or 7 times, couldn't get a trailer. Went to the store out of the whim. They had one, loaded it on the truck. Now it's at the house. Wow. And that was without like any big discussion. Feel like going to town? Yeah, okay. And we did. Where before, when we planned it and tried it and everything, didn't work out. And this is just over the last several months. So it's like, what the hell? So I'd almost given up on the idea, not really, but then all of a sudden, boom, there it is. So and we also got a really good deal on it. I won't say it out loud, but anyway, we got a really good deal on the trailer. Let's just leave it at that, okay? A big surprise, a really good surprise, like a $250 savings. Oh man. Anyway, so um, anything and everything is grateful, right? But anyway, so in painting the picture forward, I was like, it'd be nice to have a trailer. Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to do this. It'd be nice to be able to do that. But I did not specify it has to be this, or it has to be that, or it has to be at this time. Because when I tried to force it before, it didn't work. Get my point? So we put forth our intentions. We put forth what we want the picture to look like. And then, yeah, it's 12:12. I got you. Hey, David Castle. Um, Manifest it right in a lot of ways. 12:12. Hi, Jen. Jen. I knew somebody that went by Jen. But anyway, so whether you manifest it, but the thing is that sometimes it's just not the right time. And you have to accept it, not get all grumpy about it. I was to the grumpy part. But I realized that, well, I've tried this. It's just not time yet. It'll come. If it's meant to happen, it was meant to happen. It just wasn't time. So there are many things in my past, and things will come in the future. I really want to do this, but maybe not this time. I might have to pass this time around. But in the grand scheme of things, maybe my picture, I'm trying to force what the picture is going to look like. I want to go to this because I've been to it and blah, blah, blah. But maybe I need to stay home for another reason. Maybe there's something else. Maybe I shouldn't go because something might have happened to me. Who knows? But the thing is that I've learned that the puzzle pieces, when you allow them to fit, will fit on their own. Trying to make the pieces fit, trying to make the picture look like we think it should, always gets us frazzled. We always get our stomachs in an uproar. We always get our nerves in a tangled knot and mess. We always lose sleep over it. And in the end, it's not worth it. So look over your own past. Look over your own picture. Look over all of your own puzzle pieces. I can't tell you how they fit. I can say, hey, we all fit together in this community. Cheers, everyone. And that's a good thing. So that helps to paint the big picture. So remember, you're not alone in this. We are all artists in this global picture because each one of our lives, our energies, how our puzzle pieces fit together within each other. I mean, Brian Messenger, we've never met, but God, I feel like I've known him forever. I mean, we're great friends, but we have never shook hands but, and many of you are my friends. Zed, for goodness sakes, you folks are on my mind so many times. I'm not looking for kudos, but if honestly, there are times when some of y'all pop in my head, like Michelle, Dominic, David Castle, Mary Wins, you Project Skyfalls. Now you're newer, but now you're in my little Rolodex in my brain. So I'll just send out little things will come across, wonder what they're doing, to send a prayer out, and it'll just be a couple of seconds of something. But you would not believe how many times I'll be working in the garden or something like that, and y'all just kind of come in my brain. It's just amazing, and all in a good way. All in a good way. And so you have meant a lot to me in my life. in that I never thought this was possible from my standpoint. And I'm grateful to you all. But you all remember, you're part of this picture. And for every time that you feel like not, well, I don't know, I'm alone in this. No, you're not. Really, you're not. None of us are alone. And I'm so grateful that you all come in here and give each other hugs. It's and I'm the moderator for the group. That's it. This is not a cult. This is not a following. But I sincerely thank you all for being members of the League of Like Minded Beings. And thank you for allowing me to be the moderator. And thank you, Brian, for allowing me to come on your show. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the universe. And thank you, Bob, which I missed earlier, to thank you for allowing the video to not be too scrunchy tonight. And as far as I know, Brian, your video came through real clear. That was because I wasn't on. That one I did last night about the Mother Mary message, that thing was like, I bet you that looks weird. But anyway, my friends, you all are very, very much appreciated. Don't think that you aren't. So let me check. My topic is pretty much through. Um, Thank you, Dominic. Um, Changing the world one person at a time. Right, Brian? Absolutely. And we're doing it with just smiles and conversation. And that is the big picture, y'all. And the more that we are together and have this little group, the more each of us understands a little bit more about that. Oh, holy crap. I really do have an effect, our us meeting here together, is like group therapy. It's like group hugs. It's like. But we don't feel alone. We do feel the community spirit, and it carries on with us when there isn't even a video. And that's what I mean. Y'all's come into my brain, and I'm like, and it brings me smiles. It does. It's like it gives me the gumption to do another video just to hang out with you folks. Honest to goodness. And what kind of crazy thing can I come up and talk about next? Project Skyfalls, you're a newbie. Well, to us, you're to me anyway, but you're absolutely welcome. Uh, you know, yeah, David Castle, no matter what you've been through, you're here right now. Exactly. And there's was an old thing back in the late 60s ish kind of thing. It was a little book that came out, was called Be Here Now. And I thought I had a copy of it. And it was little poems and things, but the title of the book was called Be Here Now. And so back in the existential days of my high school days and learning how to smoke pot and get drunk and all that kind of stuff, and then taking acid, which was really a trip intended. But then all this stuff is like, be here now. What the hell does that shit mean? Be here in the now. Well, but that's the only way you can be. Well, there is astral projection and all these other things and forward thinking and yeah, okay. But actually, even if you do forward thinking or you know what I'm talking about, the we still are here in the now, regardless of where our thoughts may be or where our projection may be. The body's still here in the now. What does that mean? Well, it ain't that we was there 20 minutes ago. I'm now here in this point. My observational standpoint has changed. Um, so now is different from the when or the then, I should say. And it's in the now because it ain't the future. Now, if I sit here long enough with my arms folded and stare at this monitor, my now will be then. You get that. But being here in the now, yeah, you got to take the moment in hand and say, wait a minute, all this other crazy crap and all these things that happened to me in the past, if I don't choose for them to be with me at the moment, they're not. I choose to be happy. I choose to be more. It's our choice. So you guys are so great. Michelle says, I met Brian way back in 2015. I don't know how long I've known Brian and when I actually started, but you know, I try not to look at the statistics. I just do what I do. And I really, shame on me, but you all have left some wonderful comments. And I try to go back in and do the little heart thing and let you know and make comments. And sometimes my brain just can't get there. So, but I love you all. And I do see the comments come through my Gmail account and I do read them. And you all are wonderful and marvelous. So, and I'm going to try to do better. I promise. But anyway, let me scroll back down where you guys, uh, Dominic, you folks that have come on, you guys are great. Uh, did Aurora come on? Yeah, hello, Aurora Rain. Brandy, how are you? Indiana, now born Chicago town. Ah, is that what it means? Yeah, I've been to Chicago. That's a crazy town up there. It really is. I love to I love the bars at 4 in the morning though and listening to the old blues. Man, that wow, that was really great. Hey, that sounds great, Milky Way. Doing call in on Tuesday night. I'm with you on Tuesday night, brother. If you're still out there, yeah, they are freaking amazing, aren't they, Brian? Yep, yep. So, but anyway, with all of y'all's interaction with Brian, myself, with each other, thank you, Mary Wins. You are all are awesome as well. Say that 3 times real quick. But to kind of sort of stay on the topic thing and to wrap this up, it's almost an hour. Oh my God, hanging out with you guys is so great. And I know you got better things to do, right? But well, I don't know. It's 12:30 in the morning, so you probably go to sleep. But the thing that I find fascinating is that although we may not know what that picture looks like, we can do a little guessing. You know, we can guess that we're going to keep it out of the dark. But we can agree on that. We can agree that we're going to try to expand it and allow others to paint in this picture, especially when the folks understand that they are welcome to the League of Like-Minded Beings, and that in our participation is we are painting the new world. Um, is it our necessarily our vision, or is it the vision of the universe of how it should be? Now, I every time I try to put myself into it, the universe kind of says, wait a minute now, like, getting the trailer thing. I know it's a minor thing and this and that, but when I wanted it, it wasn't there. It came when out of as a surprise because I looked at Deb and I said, I didn't really plan on this, but we got it. Yay. But to the point though, so sometimes the universe says, we know a little more than you do about this. And maybe we see a bigger picture. You're just looking at your puzzle piece. And we need to step up off our puzzle piece from our perspective. And we need to put that sucker out away from us. Instead of trying to look at the puzzle piece like this, we need to stand back and give it another perspective. And go, wait a minute. Maybe I see. Ooh, okay. I see. Okay. And I realized one of the reasons why I didn't get the trailer is because I had to clean up the front of in front of the barn first. I didn't have room for it. There you go. Couldn't get to the air compressor. So I had to do certain things for the universe allowed me to get the trailer. That's how I look at it. But to the point, it is true. If I had gotten it earlier, I could have never got to the air compressor. It would have been a complete mess. So in my own looking at this little thing, it's like the universe knew more than I did. But rather than get pissed off about it, I was like, so So what do I got to do? I got to do this. So I was working towards it, but didn't realize until actually some of it till like right now what this actually meant. Hmm. But I'm still working on the same intent with the picture. You see, but trying to force what the picture I wanted the picture to look like months ago was not what the picture needed to look like. I needed to clean up some areas of my picture before I put anything new in, kind of thing, in my world. But so when we look at our own lives, we need to, be cautious to say, well, just because you're getting a little bit of friction doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just might mean that not right now. Maybe you need to expand how you're looking at your universe. Well, like I was saying in my earlier video about the dead tree standing, walk 10 feet in the forest and turn around and look. It's a different perspective. You'll see other trees you didn't see 10 feet back. 10 walk 10 more feet, stop and turn around. The forest looks different. It's the same forest, but it's from a different perspective. Every time you take a step, every time you take a breath, you are in a different reality. You have moved forward. So we're not in the same spot. Our perspective changes all the time. So we need to make sure that, wait a minute, I'm looking at this tree like this. But when I took 10 steps and turned around, I realized there was a hole in the thing, and a woodpecker had started pecking on it. Couldn't see it from this side of the tree. So from this perspective, same tree, I walk around to the other side of it and go, ooh, looky there. Same tree, different perspective. Same forest, different perspective. All you have to do is, so sometimes we look at our problems, we look at our situation, we look at our puzzle pieces and go, wait a minute, let me take, because sometimes, there's blue and white if you ever put together a big puzzle and you go, well, this looks like this, and you turn it around, and then sometimes out of the blue, at least for me, I'd look over there and see this piece and go, I think I know where this goes, and there'd be this weird little spot over here, and I go, and it would fit right there. Other people have done it too, but I was like, now how did I know that? I could. There was something about how the colors look, and I was just scanning the thing, and I know where this goes. Dunk. So in our lives, in our universes, sometimes we'll look so hard for that one piece that goes right there, and it's sitting over there, kind of waiting, but we don't recognize it because we're looking too hard for your car keys. You know what I mean? So, my friends, it's almost been an hour, and I know you were sat around with Brian and all the rest of us for an hour and a half. So, and I have talked about this long enough, but I think you get the idea. Good night, Brian. I'll say good night to everybody along here with you too, and I'll wrap this up. So, we are making a difference. We can make a difference, but remember that forcing it may not be in any one of our best interest. Robert V, hi, how are you? Yes, perspective is in the eye of everyone. Um, and Brandy, hi, Al, hi. I didn't know if I said hi, uh, Jin Shalu. I love that name. I do. I really do. Day and night changes the look of everything. Perception changes everything, says Brandy. Absolutely. And if you've ever taken an art course or watched anybody, a little bit of light shading makes a big difference. In the old horror movies, how you'd see Dracula with that light right across his eyes, you know. But anyway, yeah, lighting. And working in theater as I did for so many years, you could have a great play and the lighting suck, and it really made a difference to the play. The actor could still be good, but Michelle, Jen, Project, Mary Wins, David Castle. I'm making sure Dominic, making sure I didn't leave anybody out. But anyway, so this is the Lady Spitfire. Oh my God, spot that was pointed out me on a map. We talked about They opened the floodgates yesterday. Dracula, right? Project Skyfalls. But in a lot of those older movies, I love the old black and whites, but they would do these things and they would shutter the lights, and the actors would have to stand right there in it. And Bela Lugosi was great at it. I just got to say, he knew how to find the light. But anyway, my friends, and as an actor, when they say look for the light, you really understand how that works. But anyway, my friends, all y'all, you have a great week coming up. I've got more subjects that are in the works, and I hope that you'll come and hang out. If not for me, but to hang out with the rest of your friends. So, in closing, as always, my prayer to you always. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings of the universe. I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the blessings, and the wisdom from the universe. And as always, in the law of three, I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept and receive and to share the wisdom and the knowledge and the wonderful things that you experience in your life with your fellow uh, members of the League of Like Minded Beings. Aurora Rain, blessings. David Castle, always good to hear your voice. Robert V, you as well. Project Skyfalls. And I went down the list before. Truth in Me, good to hear your voice. I swear, every time that we do a video, it seems like the family gets a little bit closer. And I can feel the love and I feel the hugs, and I hope that you can feel them back. So have a great week despite what happens. Stay warm, stay healthy, and stay out of the chaos as much as possible. So we'll talk soon. Blessings to all of you. Cheers, my friend. Okay. And from South Georgia, TTFN, ta ta for now.